Hi everyone, my name is Amy Belmore and I'm the Development Director at Habitat for Humanity of Greater Plymouth, and we are just so excited to get this program going today. We're here at the PAC TV Studio Kitchen in Plymouth, and we want to thank, before we get started, we want to thank the crew here at PAC TV, who is always an incredible community partner, and we're so glad that we have the chance to use this beautiful space. We also want to thank our event sponsor, Tiny & Sons, and before we get going, I just want to say that this is such a critical time for Habitat for Humanity. We are, as you may know, in the middle of building 3 homes on Long Pond Road in Plymouth. We are in the final phase of construction. We are really pushing to get these houses completed for the 3 selected families by later this fall. And of course, COVID threw us a wrinkle. You know, like so many other businesses, we had to stall. We had to push the pause button. But we have been back on the build site with our volunteer crews for a few weeks now and really making progress, and we're excited about that. And of course, along with that comes the need for funds. And so we're really thankful for your participation here tonight. And we think you're going to have a lot of fun as you learn from our chef, our guest chef. You're going to meet him in just a moment. And before I turn it over to my partner here, Jenny Medeiros, I do want to just mention that we have some fun door prizes, so sit tight on that. We're going to pull those door prizes later in the program after you've seen Andrew work his magic. And now I want to introduce our great friend and supporter and volunteer, Jenny Medeiros, who has been working as a volunteer with our affiliate since back to 2004 or so. She's been a member of the board. She was the chair of our fundraising committee. She was instrumental in running a poker run, as well as getting our first annual Ride for Homes off the ground last year, working together with the combat veterans out of Massachusetts, based out of Middleborough. And unfortunately, along with 3 other fundraisers, we had to cancel that because of the coronavirus. So we're always so grateful for Jenny's support and all of her work and all of her efforts. And I'm really, really happy to have you here with us today, Jenny. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Okay, so it's my pleasure to introduce Chef Andrew Rivera-Myers. Andrew and his wife Samantha formed the Artisan Pig in 2019 as a retail sausage company in Maine. And over the course of one summer, they sold over 1,700 pounds of sausage at their local farmers market. So their desire to open their restaurant grew, and they decided to come back to Samantha's hometown of Plymouth. Andrew has spent the last 16 years working in commercial kitchens, starting as a dishwasher. He quickly climbed the ranks and eventually decided to attend culinary school at Johnson & Wales for culinary arts and hospitality management. He's worked with renowned chefs over the years across the country, and he's excited to bring his passion here to Plymouth. And we are excited to see what he has. So the Artisan Pig is a wood-fired pizza and handcrafted sausage restaurant coming soon to Court Street in Plymouth, and we'll be talking more about that restaurant in a little bit. So again, I'm delighted to introduce to you Chef Andrew.
Very good. Thank you and welcome. We're super excited you're here helping us raise some money for Habitat for Humanity. We are doing a warm roasted potato salad today with roasted tomato sausage and a little caprese salad. So we'll have the fresh tomatoes, fresh mozzarella. It'll be a nice topping to go on the sausage. To get things going, we're going to start with the potato salad. Potatoes take a little while in the oven. So we just wanted to go over a few things. So first things, we got our potato. I know sometimes they're tricky to cut, just they roll around a lot. So one of the tips that I have is we're going for about a 1/2 inch dice. So I just want to make that first cut, take it off, and now we have a flat surface to work on. So now we don't have to worry about those potatoes rolling, and it just makes that whole process a little bit easier. So we'll make our cuts through. I can take off this other piece, and now we have a flat surface again. So we'll just go across once. And then from there, we can just turn it and start going the other way. And then we can go back through with the other pieces and just cut those quickly. Careful not to chop our fingers. So we've got the potatoes. I did go ahead and cut a few more of these up ahead of time. I don't want to sit here and cut potatoes all day. I recommend if you cut them ahead of time, just store them in a little bit of water. It's going to help them from turning brown on you and oxidizing. So we've got a little bit of oil. I do recommend, if you're not comfortable with measurements, start with your teaspoons, your tablespoons. It's a great way. As you get more comfortable, you can start going by feel. I always recommend, if you want to do that, start to learn kind of what it looks like. Dump it in your hand. That way, as you're going through and seasoning, you know kind of how much seasoning we're trying to get in there. So we'll start with the salt, cracked black pepper. If you have a mill, I love it. It helps that kind of flavor when you crack it fresh versus the pre-cracked stuff. It just kind of helps preserve the flavor of the peppercorns. And then we're going to have a little bit of garlic powder. We could do fresh garlic in there as well. The garlic powder is just going to give us a slightly better coating on the potatoes as we go. So once we have the mixing bowl, we can just toss it. Nice and easy. So we've got our oven preheated already. We do have a pan down there. So I want to get that pan nice and hot. That way when we put the potatoes on here, we can move it this way. Once we get the potatoes on here, we should hear it sizzle. So I got a little bit of parchment paper. I don't like going right on the pan because it's going to stick. So from here, we'll just transfer it right on. I can hear the potato sizzling as I put it down. So I just want to spread them out so we've got that nice kind of contact with the pan throughout. And then we're going to go right back into the oven. And then it's always a good idea to clean as we go. So we'll move that. And let me grab some stuff from in here. Just what we were trying to avoid. All right. So we got our stuff for our dressing. So ranch, we will be making our ranch in-house, but for all intents and purposes, I do love Hidden Valley Ranch. So we're going to start with a little bit of that. About a cup or so, half a cup. Our sriracha. So sriracha is a spicy condiment, so the more spice you want, the more sauce we got to put in there. This is from Tabasco brand. They do an excellent job. Not to endorse anybody, but and then we've got cotija cheese. So cotija is a crumbly Mexican grating cheese. It adds a lot of flavor, a little salty kick. So we're just going to crumble some right in there. We want to save a little bit to put on top once we're done. So it's very easy. It just crumbles right up. We've got a little bit of cilantro. And we're just going to give this a very rough chop. So I'll just get the leaves in my hands and we just want to give it a super quick chop. I'll turn it a little bit and then once more. We're going to go right into that mix and grab our spatula. Just give that a good mix. And then from here, we'll put this back in the fridge. This will just hang out until we're ready to go with the potatoes out of the oven. And then we're going to go back to Habitat really quick, talk about what's going on with construction down on Long Pond Road.
Great, thank you so much, Andrew. That looks amazing already. But yes, just to give you an update. So as I mentioned at the top of the program, we have 3 houses that are being built side by side on Long Pond Road. You're going to see some photos on the screen of these houses as well, but we refer to them as 863, 865, and 867 Long Pond Road. And 863 right now is a little bit ahead, not too much, but a little bit ahead of the other 2. All of the flooring has been put down, the kitchen cabinets have been installed, and we'll soon be ready for the finished electrical and plumbing. And I do want to give a shout out to Glynn Electric and Sagamore Plumbing for all of their tremendous work across all of the sites. So we want to thank them for that. And then over at 865 and 867, those houses have been sheetrocked, and they will be painted soon with, actually, I'm sorry, flooring next, which has already started in one of them and will start soon in the other, and then painting will follow that. So we're really excited to be making progress. Of course, we need volunteers. We're always looking for volunteers. As you can imagine, having to close the site to volunteers for over 4 months put us behind on this calendar. We had been anticipating that the families may have been moved in already by now. So we're really eager to make up for lost time. And we'll talk more about volunteers later in the event, but just want to, as you think and watch Andrew here, think about what you might be interested in doing as well. You don't need any experience. Lots of people can speak about what they've learned on the site, and we always welcome new volunteers. So on that note, I will turn it to Jenny.
Thanks. All right, so a little bit of background on the homeowners for the Long Pond Road houses. First, there's Allison and Taylor. They are longtime Plymouth residents. They have 2 children, Jason 10 and Sophia 1.5, and they're really looking forward to being in a safer environment. The lot is set way back from the main road, so it's really just an ideal location for young children. Taylor has been there just about every Saturday. He's worked on every aspect of building his home, and he's often there with his father and father-in-law, and as well as all the other volunteers that help us. Jenny, she's also a Plymouth resident. She graduated from Plymouth South High School. She served in the Marine Corps for 2 years, and she has 3 children, Alexandra 8, John 7, and Madison 3. And she's just looking forward to creating some memories in her home and staying put, and, you know, in her words, having Christmas in the same place every year. So looking forward to that. Then we have Tracy, who proudly served in the military for 16 years with the U.S. Air Force and the Army Reserves. She was deployed 6 times, including to Iraq and Afghanistan. She is a Bronze Star recipient. She stepped out of her military career after 16 years to adopt 2 of her family members, 2 young cousins, and she welcomed them into her home to provide them a more stable and caring environment. Jose is 16 and Isaiah is 14.
Awesome.
And that's it.
Back to you.
Back to Andrew.
Perfect. So just to piggyback on what they were saying, when I was up in Maine, I helped out a couple weeks on one of the job sites up in Kennebunkport. It was awesome. It was a really, all-encompassing experience. I got to go in and work with different aspects of the construction, and I don't have any experience. I'm handy in the kitchen. I'm not handy on a construction site, but they made it very easy to learn. It's a lot of fun, and there's a ton of people that you can meet. So I highly recommend it. If I have time, I will be going back to it, but with the restaurant, it's always tricky. So sausage is the next on the list. As we mentioned earlier, that's one of our specialties here at the restaurant. We are going to take a slightly different approach than we do at the restaurant, just for ease of doing this at home. I did start with some ground pork already. What I do recommend, if you don't have the ability to grind pork at home, work with your local butcher. I prefer pork butts. They tend to have that right lean to fat ratio that's great for sausages. There's a couple different ways that we can do this since we don't have the casing. You can either do them as patties, you can use this loose, or you can form it into links like we did. We're just going to let it sit overnight for use. So we've got the pork. Again, sausage can be as simple or as complicated as we make it. It's literally just ground meat mixed with seasonings and spices. So again, a little bit of salt in there. And again, as you're working through this, I do recommend, following the measurements, using measuring tools. It's one of those things that once you've done this for a while, you kind of get to see where you're at. So nice and easy, a little bit of salt, cracked black pepper. For our liquid, we're going to use a nice balsamic vinegar. It's going to just kind of boost some of that flavor. We don't want to go too heavy with the moisture. If we had too much liquid in there, we're going to end up needing to add breadcrumbs or something like that to kind of bind it and hold it together. A little bit of fresh basil. So one of my favorite things to do with basil is we kind of stack it up nice and tall. You just kind of roll it into itself using those big leaves to kind of hold everything in. And that way when we slice it, it's just all kind of nice and uniform pieces. So the thing with basil is it tends to bruise easily and then it'll get bitter. So the less we have to chop this, the better. So again, just kind of like that cilantro, I'm just giving it a super quick kind of rough chop, nice and easy. We don't want to go too much with it. We're going to go right inside there. So then we've got our sun-dried tomatoes. These can be found all over the grocery store. There's a few brands that I really do like. There's a California brand that's incredible. So they've got a couple different things, roasted halves. So these are going to be slightly larger pieces, and then they have what's called a julienne cut, which will be a slightly thinner cut. But again, we just want to get a fairly rough chop on these. They are slippery with that oil, so just be careful. We don't want any fingers cut while we're doing this. So again, I'll just go one way, and then we're going to kind of bring it back and go that other way. So if we have nice big pieces in there, that's fine. They'll cook up beautifully. So we get the tomatoes in there, and then we've got a little bit of garlic that we chopped earlier. So again, some nice fresh garlic in there. And then here we just are going to mix it by hand. What we're looking for is we want this to get kind of sticky, kind of tacky, so it all kind of forms together. And again, this can be used loose as a crumble if you like making pizzas like we do. We'll go right on top of the pizzas with this. We will be putting this into casings and stuff and using it as sausage links, and then have it for different opportunities in that sense. When I get to this point, what I always like to do is I'll pinch off a small piece of the sausage. We'll kind of shape it into a patty, and then from there I'll actually cook this, just give it a quick taste test, make sure that the seasoning's where we want it to be. Once we know that that seasoning is there, then we can go ahead. So like I said, if you want to form it into links, I would honestly just grab, a handful, pack it nice and tight, and from there, kind of shape it into that sausage log that you're familiar with. So once we do that, we'll go on a plate and we can go right into the fridge. I like to let them sit overnight. Like I said, that's going to give us the opportunity to let it kind of hold its shape. So we did do some of these ahead of time. So let me pull some of those out. All right. So we've got some here that we formed up yesterday. So now we can see that now that they're nice and cold, they're really holding their shape. So I like going on a cast iron pan. If I'm cooking them at home, get it nice and hot. I'm going to start them. We'll flip them, go right in the oven, 400 degrees for about 7 minutes after we flip it. They're perfect on the grill. I am a little more careful on the grill just since they don't have the casing on them. But other than that, they're pretty easy to work with as long as you're gentle. All right. So we just want to get this pan nice and hot. And then from there, we'll be able to hear them start to sizzle. And we just want those to go for a quick minute. And again, just always trying to work nice and clean and neat, that way we don't have a big mess to clean up afterwards. So these are going to go for probably another 45 seconds just to get a little more color on them, and then we're going to pop those right in the oven. And then after that, I think we're going to talk about some of the door prizes that we have for you. Very good. Perfect.
Okay, so we do have a little challenge for all of our viewers tonight, a little photo contest. So what we'd like you to do is when you make this dish, go ahead and take a picture of it, get really creative with your plating techniques and everything. Take a picture, submit it either on Facebook or Instagram, and tag Habitat for Humanity of Greater Plymouth. You can also email it to us. We will put the email address in the chat. And Chef Andrew is going to look through all the photos and pick the best looking dish, and the winner will get a prize of a $25 gift certificate to the Artisan Pig.
Excellent. I think while we're talking about it, I'd also like to throw in a dinner for four. We've got some stuff, we want to raise some money, so I think we can do that. Let's get you and four of your friends in here, a bottle of wine, a little tasting of what we're doing, a little bit of everything from the menu, so looking forward to it.
That is amazing. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Absolutely.
I just want to say that with that, as soon as I heard you say that, as much as I was thinking about the pictures that were going to be submitted and looking forward to seeing what everybody comes up with, as soon as I heard you say that, Andrew, we can certainly make use of that with a raffle. We'll throw in a couple of we'll come up with some other raffle prizes too. And we can really hopefully sell some tickets. And since we have that photo contest goes how long, Jenny?
So we're going to run that through Labor Day. So you'll have some time to experiment with the meal and the recipe and get it just perfect. To send us your photos again through Labor Day, and
so we'll sell the raffle tickets.
We'll sell the raffle tickets, and we'll definitely add some more prizes to that as well. So thank you, Chef Andrew.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Absolutely.
I know I can only imagine my son. He loves sausage, so he's going to be whether he wins his raffle pull or not. I think we'll be hanging out at your front door
sausage
as soon
and
as you.
pizza.
Right?
Perfect.
Sausage and pizza. Just a couple other things about the door prizes. You're noticing on Chef Andrew, he has an apron. We have another apron. That'll be one of our door prizes, as well as a t-shirt like mine, and a couple of other things as well. So thank you again. Take it away.
Absolutely. All right, so now we're back for the last component of our dish. This is going to be the tomato salsa. I do just need to pull out the cheese, and then we're good. So, the best place to start looking for tomatoes is your local farmer's market right now, because they've got some beautiful tomatoes. I always like to try and find an assortment of different shapes, colors to work with. That way it's really going to add that nice kind of visual pop when we go to put this on the plate. So we'll just go nice, quick, and easy. With the little tomatoes, those are super easy. We're just going to cut those right in half, and those will go right into our mixing bowl. And again, we could have done these up ahead of time. So with this tomato salsa, I like doing this probably about 4 hours or so ahead of time. That's going to give us plenty of time to really, let the flavors kind of develop and build and marry. So I just want to take off that little top part. So we can either cut them in half and then go in quarters like that, or I can show you another trick with the paring knife. So nice and easy. Again, these are green zebra tomatoes here. They are not underripe. They are just a heritage heirloom variety of tomatoes, packed full of flavor. So we're super excited. So we've got some greens, some reds, some yellows in there. We'll just trim off the back of that. And then we'll give some of these a little bit of color in there. All right. All right, we'll call that good for right now. And then again, just a little bit of fresh garlic. We want to go right in there with that. Not on the list, or not on the recipe, but if you got some, a little bit of fresh green onion goes well in there. We'll do a little bit more of the basil. So again, this time I'm just gonna kind of bunch it up, and we're just gonna give it one quick little go. We don't have to worry about going too crazy. And then, just because I love fresh mozzarella, we're gonna take some fresh mozzarella. There's two ways to do it. We can either sit here and chop it. The easier way with this is just kind of tear it up by hand as we go into smaller pieces. So we'll break off. We want a good amount in there. It's going to add to that overall kind of flavor profile on this dish. So just a little bit more. It's very easy to kind of work with. So Belgioso, they make some nice ones. There are some really nice ones when you go to kind of that specialty section of the cheese market. So we've got a nice little base there. Again, with our balsamic vinegar, we're just going to give it a quick little 1-2. Same thing with our olive oil. So we just want to give a little bit there. And then, again, just a little bit of salt. A little bit of fresh cracked black pepper. Give that a shake. And then we're just going to grab a spoon, give that a good mix. And then again, from here, I would just give it a quick taste, make sure that everything tastes the way you want it. If you need a little more salt, a little more pepper, now's a great time to add it. So we'll do that. And then we'll start taking a look at everything and see how everything else is coming along in that oven.
So Andrew, while you're doing that,
Yes.
tell us a little bit more about what kinds of dishes we're going to see at your restaurant.
So we're going to focus on wood-fired pizzas and homemade sausages. That's how we got the start at the farmers markets. We want to keep that going. We really love the sausages. We think they're a great kind of addition. And then pizza. I love pizza. My wife loves pizza. I think most people love pizza, so we kind of figured that was a natural direction to go. I love wood-fired, so we decided let's buy a nice big wood-fired oven, and we're pretty excited about that. A couple desserts. We will have things available, so the sausages, so you can buy them to take home to grill, you know, for your barbecues and things like that as well.
Exciting. And your wife, Sam, now she has a background in culinary as well?
Yes, Sam grew up in Plymouth all of her life, except for a few years that we moved up to Maine. She's been at Cabbie Shack, she's been with Cupcake Charlie's. Her family has been around in the community, in the hospitality scene. So she's really excited to, you know, finally be back home here as we work through that construction process. And we hope that her time in the front of house is really going to help us, you know, set up success for the hospitality side and the management side of things.
That's great. And Andrew, what about the atmosphere? What will the environment be like in your restaurant?
So we're hoping it's going to be pretty casual. When we walked in and we saw those big, beautiful windows that you saw in the pictures, we fell in love with the place. If you're familiar with the old surf shop, the building has a lot of character. So we really wanted to capture that character on the build out, keep it pretty simple. But overall, I think the feel is going to be pretty casual. We're just going to be in jeans and t-shirts. We've got some nice t-shirts with the logos on them. But we're not trying to be fancy. We're not trying to be pretentious. We just want to do, you know, comfort food done nicely. So
Sounds great to me.
perfect.
All right.
Okay. Give these a quick test. So I always recommend a digital thermometer if you have one. It just helps make sure that we're cooking everything properly. So with ground pork, we want to get up to about 155. So we're about 3 or 4 minutes away from that. So very good. So I don't know if,
3 or 4 minutes?
yes.
All right. All right. Well, we can take some time. We
Perfect.
certainly have lots to say about Habitat for Humanity. So, yeah, we can certainly talk about. Actually, this is a really good opportunity for us to talk about our new Restore location. For those of you who haven't yet visited, during the time of business closures, our affiliate was due to move from one location to another in Carver, and that move took place. And we opened our doors about a month ago, I would say, and the business has been incredible. It's a bigger space, it's brighter, there's more room for inventory, there's much better parking, much better visibility, and the most important thing is there's incredible deals inside this Restore. So the address is 160 North Main Street. Most people know where Tractor Supply is, and we're in that strip mall right next to Tractor Supply. That's right on the Plimpton-Carver line. And so that's definitely, if you're either looking for a new piece for your home, whether it's furniture or appliances, lighting, doors, windows, paint, building materials, all sorts of things, tools, come on by, because all of the proceeds from all of the sales revenue from the Restore benefit the mission of Habitat. That money goes directly into helping us to build the affordable homes that we're building right now and in the future. So definitely want to give a shout out to the Restore. And then on the flip side, if you're not looking to purchase something, but maybe you want to donate something, maybe you're downsizing, or you're just looking to freshen up your home, you want to move a piece along and it's still got good life left in it, bring it on by. Send us a picture of it ahead of time. That's ideal. And we're going through inventory so quickly. We really appreciate donations.
And you also pick up.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yep, we do. We can arrange for pickups, certainly by appointment, but that is if you have a large piece of furniture or a number of items, we absolutely can pick up. So how are we doing, Andrew? We could still have a little bit of time here, because I can.
A couple minutes.
All right.
All right. So.
All right. So I guess I would just say, as we continue on and talk about Habitat, I know we talked about volunteering on the build site before, but we also have volunteer opportunities that aren't on the site. That's not ideal for everybody, we recognize that, but we do have opportunities volunteering at the Restore, for one, helping to greet people and move furniture around and work the register and that kind of thing. So that's an opportunity. And another is we have, someday we'll get back to doing events, right? Someday we will. We'll be able to gather in person, so that's something. But there's also stuff in the office that we can use support with, and we appreciate that. I don't know, Jenny, do you want to talk a little bit more about when you first got involved, what you did?
Sure. So gosh, it was so long ago. Yeah, my company actually was located in Kingston, and there was a house being built not too far from our company's address. So we were looking for something to do. My company's related to the construction industry, so working with Habitat in Kingston, in our community, it was just a natural fit. Well, I attended a meeting and met some of the people there and just learned more about Habitat, and I loved the way that it was so community-based, that it really is, the community helping people, your neighbors. It's not, a nameless person somewhere that you never see. You actually get to meet these families. You work side by side with them, whether you're helping to build their house or planning a fundraiser, or just spreading the word. And I really like the way the community gets involved. So not just the volunteers, but also the businesses in the community that help us. And here we are at PAC TV doing this, which is great. All of our local business supporters who have been loyal all of these years, you can always count on them. And as Amy was saying, especially during this year, over the last several months, it's been incredibly difficult. We've had to cancel a lot of our events, and that directly impacts our ability to build these homes and get our neighbors into a safe environment. So I think for me, it's really just about the community and coming together that way.
That's great. And Gordian was back, your current company was back on the build site back late fall, I guess, or December, I think it was, right?
Yeah, we have
So it's been a long running time with them.
Long relationship with us and Habitat, yep.
That's great.
So.
That's great. And we thank you for it. What are you thinking, Andrew?
All right.
Keep going, or are
Just
you
about
ready?
there, yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right. Turn it back.
so our potatoes are out of the oven. So we're just gonna go right back into our mixing bowl where we had the sriracha, the ranch, the cotija cheese. So I just go right in completely warm. That's gonna help that cheese melt a little bit. It's gonna kind of help bring that sauce together. So we're gonna add just a few more. All right. So now that looks good. So we can get a little bit here on every plate. As we taste, I don't like boring potato salads. There's not too much with this one. It's realistically 4 or 5 ingredients, but it kind of gives it a slightly different flavor profile than most potato salads that we're used to. So it's a nice little contrast with the heat, the spiciness, the warm potato salad versus the nice cold potato salads. So we'll go a little bit for everybody to taste as we've got our rolls going. I use mayonnaise on them as opposed to butter. It's easier to spread. It cooks up just as well, and it's a little less expensive than butter. So while those rolls finish toasting, again, just a little more of the cotija cheese. We can just sprinkle a little bit on top of each one. And then we can go back with our green onions. And again, just a little bit on top. It's going to give it a little bit of color. And then as we come off with our rolls. All right. So we've got these. I love a split top New England roll. I just think that, I don't know why I love them so much, but they're just a nice, easy roll to work with. So again, we're just gonna go right in. Nothing on the bun, just kind of press them in. So you can see that even without the casing, these really do hold their shape once we get them going. So we'll go right on each plate. All right, and then our tomato salsa. So again, we want to just give this a nice mix. And just right on top, kind of pile it on. It's all right if it spills over the side. It's natural, it's gonna happen. So, but we can just see that wonderful color that we get from this. And that fresh mozzarella. So that fresh mozzarella is going to pick up a lot of that balsamic flavor. And then if we like from here, we can just give it a quick little drizzle. Very good. So nice, quick, easy. One for you.
Thank you.
One over here for you. Reach across. One for the wonderful camera crew. We'll bring one over here and let's have a taste and enjoy.
All right, before you all bite into that amazing looking meal, I want to we have a very special guest taster with us today. I'm supposed to be looking here. Which way do I look, guys? I don't know which way to look. Here, okay. Every time I see this man, it puts a smile on my face, not just because he's a great friend of Habitat for Humanity, but just because he is a great friend of the Plymouth community and the wider community as well. Long, deep history of giving back to charitable causes, doing great work here, and we're just so thrilled to have Peter Brown from Tiny & Sons joining us.
Yep.
Peter, welcome.
How are you? Thank you.
Thank you.
Peter is the president of Tiny & Sons, who is the sponsor for this event. He was the lead sponsor for our Ride for Homes that Jenny talked about a little bit earlier. and we're just delighted. So welcome. You ready for this?
Oh yeah, this is what it's all about. And I was reading about your history a little bit online, and that restaurant in Maine that you were working at was amazing. Was it what's the name of the restaurant that you worked in Maine?
Crooners and Cocktails.
Yeah,
back in the day. Yes.
Back in the day, yeah.
We helped launch that, and that was it was a fun project. It was my first time kind of launching a restaurant, but we tried to take a creative approach on food from the 50s and the old supper club throwbacks. So it's been kind of a fun journey.
It reminded me a little bit of the Pier 4, Anthony's Pier 4, that style of dining and that old style recipes and stuff. And I was looking at a lot of the personality that you put into those recipes. And then I saw what you were doing in Plymouth, and I said, this is perfect. You know,
We're
it's just
super excited.
It's just like unbelievable. And you got a perfect spot. You're right across the street from the Pilgrim Hall Museum. And, and I know once we get the COVID thing all straightened out and we get the tourist people back, it's going to be a perfect spot. So.
Absolutely.
You can actually see the water from some
the
of
water
your...
from one of the windows looking down Chilton Street. We can see right down to the water. So
you can walk, get a pizza and walk right down to the Rock. And you have your,
yes, that's
your
it.
food.
Go say hi to the Rock and go from there.
So what made you come back here? Because of the wife, or?
Yes. So we have a little one, a little 1-year-old, and we've got another on the way.
Nice.
So when we were looking at opportunities where we wanted to be, you know, my wife really wanted to be closer to family, back to the roots, especially with the time that it takes to run a restaurant. We knew that we were going to have a hard time, you know, up in Maine. So we spoke with her family, and they were obviously thrilled for us to come back down and be a little closer. You know, 2.5 hours away is what we were in Maine, which isn't that bad, but when you need constant help, it gets to be a long drive. So
it's nice having grandma there so you can help with the kids and stuff.
So, you know, it was nice, it was peaceful, it was quiet where we were in Maine, but it's absolutely beautiful here, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. So we're super excited to be here. We're super excited to be joining the community, and the community has been overwhelmingly supportive so far, so we're very excited to see how we can, you know, in turn give back to the community. So
everything you're doing is just amazing, especially with Habitat for Humanity and the stuff that you do for now. It's just incredible. So I appreciate everything you I appreciate letting me help you do what you do. So it's awesome.
We're always happy to see you, Peter. And you know, one thing that I didn't mention when I was when Peter first came in here was how active he is. So there's no one better to be tasting your food right now, because Peter is so involved with the business community locally, both with the Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce, the Pembroke Chamber of Commerce. So everybody knows this guy. So
perfect.
You take this bite
what is this like? Do you just pick it up? And
so the best way to do it is just pick it up and go for it. And then just kind of butt people out and eat over the plate, because it's going to make a mess. But then from there you just kind of keep digging back in.
Okay.
I'm starting with the potato salad.
It's kind of like a taco, you know.
The shoulders.
Get it and go.
And while they chew, I do want to say that I'm not. This is no snub to Andrew. I have not personally eaten red meat or pork products in over 25 years, and so it looks delicious. That tomato salsa is totally up my alley, but I am refraining from tasting only because of that.
And it smells so good.
It does. It does smell incredible. It does smell incredible.
I'm gonna try to fit this in my mouth.
You just gotta go for it.
Just dig in, dive in there.
Close your eyes and
That
just let it
salsa
go.
looks amazing.
So you make your own sausages, right?
We will, yep. So
Yeah.
at the restaurant, we do, like I said, we do a little bit different of a process. You know, we'll break down the meat, we'll season it, let it sit overnight before we grind it, and then from there, you know, it goes in the casing, and then we'll hang it overnight, so it kind of helps that consistency and that texture. And then those will go on the grill. And then anything that's going in the wood-fired oven, you know, on top of the pizza and stuff like that as well. So.
And did you say, Andrew, that you anticipate selling sausage like retail for people to swing by?
We didn't want to get completely away from our roots. So we are working on making sure that we have the correct licensing, so we can sell all the sausages retail. So that way you can come in, if you've got your favorite flavor, you know, and you've got friends coming in for the weekend, pick them up. Perfect for the barbecue. And, you know, realistically, we'll have, you know, a handful of our other staples, some of the spice rubs, things like that we'll be working with that will be available for our customers as well.
That's great.
This potato salad you should sell over the counter.
Yes,
It's good.
Really good.
fantastic.
I like the way they use the cheese instead of the egg. And that's really awesome.
Yeah.
We try and, excuse me, kick up that heat with the sriracha. It was one of those things where we were messing around. I was making potato salad, and I didn't have the ingredients that I was used to working with. And I had the ranch in there, and I had the sriracha. I said, no, let's go with that. And we did it up as a warm salad, and it was awesome. So it was like, all right, well, let's just keep rolling with it.
I liked
So-
it because it was so simple. So it's like you got to bring something to your, to your cookout. It's really not that bad to make.
Right.
So
No, it's, 6 ingredients if you count the potatoes. So,
yeah.
excuse me. So super easy, super quick. Served warm, served cold, it's delicious as well. If I have leftovers, I honestly just blitz it in the microwave for long enough to, get that cheese melted again. And then from there, it's good. But,
Excellent.
we'll have, 5 or 6 sausages on the menu, and then we'll probably rotate a few specials and selections as we go. We'll probably try and change most of the menu seasonally. A few items will probably change more frequently, and I'm sure there's some that will change less frequently, but we're super excited.
I am too. This is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're so excited. We're going to be eagerly waiting for your big announcement when those doors open, and we will make sure that we share that with our community as well and our friends, and hopefully all of our viewers here will do the same.
Perfect.
So please
Yeah.
keep us posted about how it's going and when we can expect to be able to come see you in person.
It's excellent. We're hoping right now probably middle of October.
Oh, that's not bad. That's
as
not too far
long
away.
as there's no hidden hiccups or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's construction, so sometimes those things come up, but I think we've gotten most things addressed. So here pretty soon, we are going to have the windows taped up again so you can't look inside as we start getting closer to the
Yeah.
finishing touches.
Yeah.
So that way when you guys walk in for the first time, it's, it's hopefully a wow experience for you. So, but
That's excellent. And that's I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say we appreciate, you guys having us out here and letting us come on and, a platform for us, and we're always happy to help out with Habitat and, any good causes for the community. So
Thank you so much. And just the fact that
absolutely.
you said a wow experience, because this has just been like kind of wow for us, because we've never done a virtual event like this before, and we're just so grateful to Andrew and the Artisan Pig and Sam for being supportive of this from behind the scenes, and Pack TV and Tiny and Sons and Jenny and everybody. So we're going to flip now to our live Q&A with Andrew. So all of you who are watching, think about the questions you want to ask, any tricks of the trade, pro tips, that type of thing, and we'll be right back over to you, okay? So thank you again, and looking forward to continuing the conversation.